on someone else. I cry every time.
I'm sorry.
Here we go, though. Let's find out who is going to progress to the grand finale tomorrow. Astralis or Envious. It all comes down to this. And Astralis may be setting up for the retake on A because they only have dupreeh there. I say only dupreeh. He's capable of single-handedly fending this push off. But it's going to be a very difficult one. In actual fact, he's not interested. He's not going to bite on that bait that was dangled so deliciously in front of his eyes. Xyp9x is the first to fall. Kiyoshima's there. Bomb has been planted as expected. 2 players now in connector from Astralis. And still dupreeh lurking on CT boxes. Good one tap from cajunb. That's going to alleviate some of the pressure. Then they now can focus all of their efforts on the site itself. Apex comes through with 3 one-taps. This is what we're talking about. They need someone else to step up, and MBK puts down Karrigan. What a fantastic pistol round from Envious, and that's one way to start to calm the nerves a little bit.
Definitely, because Apex, as you said, he had a few highlights here and there, especially on the entry frags towards B. But he has been pretty calm on overpass overall. But this time, really quick 3 headshots. I was pretty surprised that Envious actually didn't end up pushing either CT or jungle, as we only saw 1 player there. But in the end, Apex rising up to the challenge. And Astralis actually pick up CZs and armor. Pretty much same as on overpass, actually. Kind of the same buy that we have seen a couple of times from the Danes.
Yep, and as previous times, Device not going for the CZ, so we can afford more weaponry. Well, not the Kevlar, I should say. He has a CZ with no Kevlar behind it, so we can afford weaponry going through into the future rounds, looking at round 4 for him to bust that out.
Happy's here to gain some information, and he is about to. I think he will see that there is no player on A, although
Device is in ramp, though, so
yep.
This is a bit sketchy.
This is going to be rough for,
oh my goodness,
Astralis, I believe.
Because Happy's gone on to A. He's got the recon. He said, A's clear, boys. And so the bomb is coming through, and Device is there.
They could know, though. They could see this coming.
Yeah, Device can hear the footsteps now as well. He knows this is en route.
Oh, they did see it coming. They knew that Happy didn't clear pit, and a team like Envious, they would not do that mistake of not expecting a play there. So great play by them for sure. Happy gaining all the information, letting the teammates know that he's not so sure about pit there or ramp. So definitely the way that you do need to play these anti-force buys, especially if you do know that the team against you is inclined to stack one site. So Happy definitely playing the information game and being the lurker that he is. This time a little bit more active than baiting his teammates.
Of course, Astralis don't want to throw these weapons with Kevlar away. They can use this into the next round. It gives them effectively 2 cracks at the whip rather than just the 1. Still a HE in the hands of Xyp9x as well, so not too shabby little save from Astralis. But of course, Envious were hoping for the best starting off on this map, and that's exactly what has came to fruition. KennyS will keep that MAC-10. Every kill he gets goes towards his AWP fund. So he'd like to go in first.
The trust fund of KennyS.
Indeed. Which has been pretty healthy today.
That it has. Again, only 1 player. This time it's Karrigan on the A site, with Device kind of close. But actually, Astralis do rotate, but they do not have the weaponry. They do have 3 CZs though. It could end up making the difference, because look at that. They're actually running into a stack.
They will be maneuvering themselves into the CZs and the P250 of Astralis. Here is the HE that we were talking about in that previous round. Is it going to do any damage? It's negligible at best onto MBK. In actual fact, he eats a grenade himself. That grenade looked like it landed on his face and only did 22. Just CS nade things. Never understood them, never will. KennyS, there is the money towards the AWP. And a second as well. Money in the bank, looking for a third. He gets taken down, but he's happy enough with that. AWP buy up for him next round. And dupreeh just hoping that maybe he can take someone else down with him. That's not the case. Envious with a quick 3-0, but we have seen this before in overpass. And this is the moment Astralis picked their weapons up and got 6 rounds in a row. Will history repeat itself?
I'm pretty surprised the fights actually didn't go with the op, or well, I should say Karrigan actually, because he is the main opper on this map, and he has been very successful with the op on Mirage, for sure. Actually, we do see him usually picking up that weapon and being either on B or in window, just being a nuisance, and sometimes picking up a few double, triple kills. But this time, Karrigan actually opts for the M4, even though I think the device could have dropped. But they do want the utility, which is also important on Mirage.
Need to be play so far from Envious. Of course, they do have control over underpass, so that can easily maneuver its way into connector. Karrigan in ladder room. In the whole house. And now Envious looking to push the envelope, maybe through short. The bomb has traversed its way through the murky shadows of the apps. Karrigan is the first to open up in this round, and the second kill as well. That is huge. It stops the two-pronged attack onto B. It funnels it into a bottleneck. The close claustrophobic environment of B site is held by Xyp9x, and he stands tall to deliver 2 kills in quick succession. Apex has to trundle over the fallen teammates, his fallen comrades in arms, to try and pull this one off, and Xyp9x is there for a 3rd kill. Very well played with the FAMAS, and he'll convert it into the AK-47. No problems whatsoever. Envious can buy back up, but Astralis, that was an important round.
It's important that Astralis actually survived in 3 players. It could have been 4, but it's not too bad. They do have a pretty much full buy now. Only cajunb with a little bit of utility missing, but it's very important to stay alive, especially in the 4th round, when you do end up losing the first 3, to be able to actually have a decent buy, despite winning. While Envious, they did survive with quite a few players in those 2 rounds, those 2 anti-ecos, so they should be pretty set, at least for this round. Obviously, we can see 5 AKs. Again, no op for Kenny S, though.
What was interesting, though, is on the overpass, when he went huge with the 35 frags, only 12 of them were with the AWP.
Oh,
so
true.
The vast majority of his kills there, over 20 of them, came at the hands of the pistols, the assault rifles. So sure, he doesn't have the AWP, but the way he's been playing, he's just as potent, if not more so, with the AK.
Device playing with fire here.
He's gonna get burnt now.
They did see the, I think they did see the silencer.
Just sticking through. He was betrayed by his gun. Envious looking for a very similar setup, although this time it's more pushed towards A. The idea is mid-control. Connect up is where they're going to look to burst through, and cajunb in shadow not able to stop the onslaught. Apex on point again with the AK, and a spray through toll booth will claim Device's life, and Karrigan now has the unfortunate task from the Danes' perspective of just saving the AK-47. A crisp execution from Envious, and they can afford to chase down these weapons. So Astralis, almost in the worst case scenario, they're starting to build some momentum, and now they're going to be flat out broke on CT side of Mirage.
A bit of a failed high 5 there from Keo and Apex, I believe, that we could see on stream, actually. Cracking a little bit of a smile.
Maybe that would explain why he's consistently bottom fragging.
This time Apex actually did.
If you can't hit a high 5, what are your chances in a game of CS?
Not very high, I would say. But yeah, Apex being the bull that he usually is, actually, he did go out of connector first. Got the smoke kill on dupreeh, as we could see at the beginning, and then just kept piling on through, and picked up the guy under balcony as well in dark. So Apex stepping up, and he actually does have 8 frags, I believe, in the first 5 rounds. So that's a great sign for Envious.
Especially in Mirage, you need one of your entry fraggers to be on point, and Apex could be the man to do just that. I also love that Karrigan's USP is called Kenny S Killer Kappa.
Really?
It's so apt for this game right now.
I didn't see that.
Yeah. Pretty awesome. But it's not doing much killing right now, because he's put 6 foot under. Pushing up daisies. Xyp9x gonna be chilling with USP, hoping to get an exit frag. That's pretty much all we can hope for from this point of view.
Yeah, we could see Happy going from apps once more, kind of alone, jumping to site and opening up the round, kind of making sure that there is no stack, and allowing NVS to eventually back off if something goes wrong there. So, so far so good for NVS. We can see Happy and Apex on top of the scoreboard for NVS, 8 and 7 frags for those two, as production gave us the scoreboard. On the other side, a max 7 on Zipex, but actually an op on device. And he is going towards B, so I would guess he could even go aggressive on the apps.
Yeah. That's where you're expecting a max 7 to be played, and you see it picked up on the CT side. But the issue is that max 7 kind of sucks when you're trying to retake. And that's exactly what ZipNix has to do right here, right now. Karrigan can't do much from jungle. And just to make matters that much worse, Happy's on the prowl around from B side, going to be coming through underpass, I assume.
Device needs to save this off.
Actually, he's already gone to B. He's assuming the bomb's going to get planted and they're going to win. And that instantly Astralis would go over to B to save. I like the idea from Happy, but it doesn't pay off because Device is there to meet him.
Yeah, for sure. It's what Happy is there for. Just being the insurance policy for NVS in case something goes wrong. And if not, he's there to pick off the remaining players. This time, not going to happen. Device actually expected that to go as it did, so it looks like they will be able to save these two guns, which is going to be important for their economy going forward. I don't believe they will have a great buy. I'm wondering if they actually do end up buying, but they could. They actually go for the pause. Similarly to NVS, actually, on overpass.
Understandable. I think this is the correct decision. You're 6-1 behind on CT side. Things have just been going horribly wrong. NVS have been able to poke and probe through mid. They've been going short, they've been going connector, and there's been absolutely nothing to stop them. So Astralis, you often see teams on the CT side of Mirage, when things aren't going well, they'll actually flash up mid and they'll start to push and try and get kills to counteract the aggression. Maybe just throwing in a couple of those rounds could to catch NVS off guard and stop them from taking this mid control all the time, because there is serious issues with that. Especially a team like Envious, if Apex is playing this well, if you give him a chance to then just burst out of connector or short, he is going to get kills.
Mid control is super important on Mirage, as the terrorists can just play with you from that point on. If you don't have the op in middle, in window, or in short, or connector, then or just at least be a nuisance around mid for them not to be able to gain ground that quickly and that easily. It's super important on Mirage, as we could see even in the second gun round, on the first gun round actually, I think, where they did stack up 3 players in connector, and there was no way for Astralis to actually know that. They had no information. That's what mid control is for on this map. You need to have the information that they are on one of the sides, not on middle, and actually having being able to cover middle and not allowing for any flanks from Happy in this case. It's really, really important. But we can see that the money situation is really, really bad on Astralis. 2.2k, 2 saved weapons. I would say they should still wait one more round, and I think that is what's going to happen. We can see that they are buying a P250, a CZ75 to go along with those 2 weapons.
And these are the kind of rounds where I'd actually like to see Astralis maybe try and play that aggressive push up mid.
Yep.
Because you've almost got nothing to lose. You're not expecting to be able to save the AK and the AWP into the next round. Do something different. Standard isn't working for you. Break the mold. Envious will keep playing the same strats because it's working. If it ain't broke, why fix it? Are we going to see the aggression through mid? That's a no.
From Envious, though, it looks like a device is actually heading over to a connector here.
Okay, we are just from a different role. Normally you'll see people.
He missed all 4 players. This is going to be huge.
Oh, that's sad. That is sad news. We'll smoke it to stop the engage back from Envious. Typically, you'll see the players kind of running through hole into window and then dropping down and pushing up aggressively. The connector also works. If he landed a frag and be able to relocate, he'd been absolutely fine there. As you say, though, he does miss out on all 4 players.
Yeah, this is definitely not a throwaway round for Astralis, just because of those two guns. And with an op. And Device is the player on the op. And Apex, look at that. Apex is actually kind of lurking in connector.
One of those weapons has been dropped, though, Striker. And it could soon be both of them. Device down to 15, circling the drain. That's the hope that one of his teammates can throw him a life vest. And no.
Nope, not gonna happen. Karrigan did pick up the AK that was dropped by Xipex before. And gets Kenias there, dupreeh.
Well, it's just a case of lining them up and knocking them down from MVS. Again, it's one of those kind of rounds where I don't feel that the timeout is for that particular round, it's for this one.
No.
It's now for round number 9. It's this point where they can buy, as you said, because they don't buy, you can see there, they can afford. It's going to be with potentially an AWP and just Kevlar and only the one flash. In fact, no flashes.
So only an AWP and a Kevlar on device.
Yep.
Kind of surprised to see him pick up the full vest. I'm wondering why that is.
That's a good point.
He could have a
If he didn't
smoke.
get the full vest, he could have a
He
smoke
could have
and
a smoke,
flash.
a couple flashes actually, because he was left with 150. So that's an interesting choice for sure. It could make a difference.
It does. It seems like nitpicky, but it could actually make all the difference. An
Definitely,
extra smoke,
2
and extra flashes. They certainly can start to build up, but this is it. This is crunch time. Astralis are on the point where it could come just toppling down and the house of cards could start crumbling. They need a hero. They need someone to step up big. They go for the aggressive plays in the sense that cajunb is holding angle and ramp. But unbeknownst to Astralis, the entirety of MVS are over on the B side of the map. And Karrigan and Xipnex may find that out very shortly. It's going to be underpass instead. And this is the thing again, no mid control from Astralis
What
whatsoever.
Device is watching Connector, and I'm pretty sure he is going to meet Kenias here. Or maybe Apex. But they may end up boosting into window, which is going to be very, very, very bad for Astralis because they have nobody to cover that. Is he pushed up? No, he's not. I don't think there's anybody in window.
What an interesting turn of events. This is envious. Now going into A, and that aforementioned player in ramp of cajunb could be in the thick of the action. I wish we could switch across to him to see what went down. We'll never know. Whether he whiffed an opportunity or MBK just went God mode. What we do know, though, is that MBK is going to get picked off right afterwards. Here comes Apex from Connector. He's going to get round the back of dupreeh. And Happy actually takes down that kill. This has gone horribly wrong again for Astralis. That was a big kill, though. 3 on 3, 10 seconds to play with. The bomb still isn't being planted. 6 seconds. They have smoked the site, but here come Astralis. The AWP is ringing on out. Kiyoshima's down to 8 HP, and Kenny's also tagged. Can they hold on to this site? It's not looking likely. Cue the man, Kenny S. The way he's playing on overpass, you wouldn't write him off this situation, but it's so unlikely. The downside for Astralis, no smokes to choke off his position. Just flashbangs. The bomb is planted for him, but Karrigan with the M4 will salvage the round. Astralis with 2, but they have to keep this going. If they lose now, round loss is reset, and they're back in dire ways.
That one frag on Apex was actually pushing up on CT after getting top flash into it. That was super important from Device. Had he not gotten that frag, I'm pretty sure NVS would just run away with this round. But Astralis do survive and play the 3v1 very well. They had the flank from Connector as well, and that made a lot of difference because he was able to pick up 1 frag, and I think he even dinked another player who was actually planting. So that was super important, and a couple of frags from Device as well.
Double up setup for Astralis. 1B, 1A is pretty standard. And Device, of course, can easily relocate into mid windows. Envious had the opportunity to go for an AWP, but instead went for the full AK for this purpose alone, and that was a full-on execute onto A. cajunb is going to ring out with the first kill. He gets answered back on, but Astralis are in decent enough positions. They still have Xipnex, who is going to be wrapping himself through jungle. dupreeh's in shadow, so there is a bit of a crossfire down for Astralis for the next few moments, and Karrigan holding the AWP over on short will take down Kiyoshima with ease, and he's still in that same position right now. Happy's going to have a crack at him, and does land the headshot. That's a huge kill. This allows the bomb to now be planted for short side, but meanwhile, you've still got dupreeh, who's hiding in the shadows. He's yet to show himself. So for all envious know, he's still on CT, finally decides to make his presence known. Unfortunately for Astralis, converts it into a kill. Bomb planted for both Connector and Ramp. It's a rough plant for Astralis to try and defuse from. But Device has made it a whole lot easier. Happy is going to be peeking. Can't get anything done. Zipnex this time will rattle off the round. And Astralis with 2 back-to-back rounds. But my goodness, did they have to work for both of them.
I actually was a little worried for Astralis there, just because had they actually gone down, I think Zipex was the one in the window. Had he gone down, that's one more circles coming out of production.
Pay me like
Thank you.
one of your French school girls.
Oh well. Would you like to?
I'm not a very good artist. I'll make you look ugly, but you're beautiful in real life.
Okay.
I'm so smooth.
I thought you were asking me to thank you, like
No,
one
observer.
of my French. Oh.
Because clearly he's an artist, right?
Oh, that's good. Yeah. But yeah, I did get a little bit worried for Astralis there, just because had they gone down, dupreeh in the site would have not made the difference, but they didn't, and dupreeh actually got that 1 kill, and the remaining 2 players were actually so spread out and on low HP as well, so there was not a big chance for them.
Well, speaking of not a big chance, I thought Envious's chances of getting onto the B site were limited at best, judging from the positions from Astralis, but nothing could have been further from the truth. The only man that's shown any bite from Astralis here in round number 11 is Device, and you can hear the Molotov is chunking his HP down.
A good decision to save here.
Indeed.
There's nothing they can do against a well-positioned NVS on the B site.
B's horrible to retake,
Exactly.
especially when you're a player down.
It's super horrible to retake. No, well, there's some utility there, but still. What is this? What's that for?
Has he came back again? I thought we were rid of the Mr. Observer with his circles. Is that NATO?
No, it's not NATO.
I will pimp slap him.
In the end, actually, I don't think NATO is observing. Either that or he's just trolling us, but I don't think it's NATO. Anyway, 8-3 for NVS. They do bring it back.
I just
after a couple
realized
of rounds in a row.
that for people that weren't here earlier, they're going to have no idea what we're talking about. But for
idea.
people that were, they're probably still scarred from the
likely.
circles. They never want to see another circular object in their life.
Yeah, we saw a curve this time, not a circle.
Gotta love curves, bro.
Yeah.
CZ for Zip next. The rest of the team, though, is well equipped. Double ups in play for Astralis. And as we said before, purely off the basis of saving those weapons. Without those weapons, we would not be seeing anywhere near as good a buy.
Yeah, definitely. But Astralis really need to take this round. Oh, dupreeh playing with fire.
Do that quite a bit. But he's all by himself. You've got 3 players on A, but they're all isolated from one another. So it's effectively just the death squad of Envious going around and picking off victims left, right, and center. Finally, Device is going to be channeling his inner Kenny S for the first few moments of this round, with 2 kills with the AWP.
They will end up rotating, actually, which I'm not sure is the greatest choice, seeing as there's nobody in the A site. It could end up surprising, but look at that.
Karrigan's heard footsteps
yeah,
now.
definitely has to hear the footsteps. He knows that the rotation is coming.
If you're going to rotate, surely you walk that. You don't give your position away. For that exact reason, Karrigan has been on short a couple times with the AWP, so you have to assume he's going to be there again.
Look at that. And we actually have to back off after they had a completely clear A site. Karrigan just picking up another. This is done round
For
just
me,
because of that rotation.
Huge misplay from Envious. They had like 45, 50 seconds left when he made noise through the apps. He had so much time to just lurk. And I think he would have caught Karrigan off guard.
Exactly.
And as you say, it's a done round. Karrigan, take nothing away from Karrigan. He hit all the shots he needed to.
The thing is, I don't think NVS expected him to be there at all. I think they expected them. They expected Astralis to rotate fully to the A site, but it just took them too long. I don't think Karrigan was expecting it to be an A push, and he actually did end up on 3 frags in that round.
Yeah, he got
and
3.
The thing is, he knows what Happy does on this map. He knows what Happy does on every map, pretty much. You know that he's going to be somewhere around, and playing that lurker position.
So after a horrendous 7-1 start, Astralis is starting to piece their CT side back together again. Envious have a few sledgehammers to knock that wall back down. Kiyoshima has one of them, but not going to do a great deal with that opportunity. dupreeh puts him down with ease. And now Envious don't have connector control, so they have to be very, very careful. 4 on 2. Bomb dropped towards Sandwich. And Astralis in a commanding position. Happy with the only assault rifle between the two of them, and he has just been dispatched with haste from cajunb, who shifts his attention to MBK, and another full house of frags. dupreeh with 2, cajunb with 3. Astralis, they are getting back into this game, but still, if Envious go back again and win this last 2, 5-10 scoreline would be a horrendous half for Astralis. They've got to keep going.
But we can see that Envious actually don't have a really good buy. They only Kirishima actually bought a weapon. Oh no, they are. What is happening? They are really buying weirdly, but yeah, they're still gonna have a. It is a quasi buy pretty much. Kirishima had a lot of money, so he had about 6K, so it makes sense for him to buy. Happy actually bought up, and he has 0 money, but he will have the Tech 9 in the following round, even if they end up losing this one. So it is, they are giving themselves a bit of a chance in this round. Actually, a pretty decent one, actually. This is a Deagle P250 Tech 9 and a couple of guns. This is not a bad quasi buy. It could end up being pretty dangerous for Astralis if they don't defend this A take that is coming.
Certainly dangerous. Almost like a lapse in communication or something, because you saw Envious buying very late. Apex actually ran back into the buy zone to get his Deagle and a couple of his grenades. So either way, they have the weapons in play now. There's no turning back. And as you said, they still will be able to afford a half-decent buy going through into the next couple rounds. Or the next round, I should say. But here we go. They're just going straight in. No flashes. There is a couple of smokes thrown out for good measure, but Astralis, as expected, will be stopping this push. The bomb's been planted. This affords more weapons, more grenades for Envious into the next round. So I suppose in that sense, they are going to be relatively happy with how round 14 will climax. But happy with his Galil hiding in the smoke. He's going to have a quick peek out. There's the first shot. Happy still alive. The bomb, however, is not going to need to be even tattled with because Happy's been picked off. 8-6. How's the buy looking? It's going to be AKs by and large.
Yeah, but actually it ended up not being a quasi buy. I missed the money before. They actually did buy up almost fully, I think. So they did expect to have at least a chance, and they did end up taking only one guy down with them.
But because of that bomb plant, you can see now they have more grenades.
Yeah, they still have a better buy than before.
Absolutely. For assault rifles device, though. Close range in Palace. One of the first times we've seen him do this. Completely catches him off guard. The cat-mouse game from Device has gone massive. 4 kills for him. Happy last man standing. And Device has taken him out for the ace. What a fantastic play from the man. Astralis now do have themselves a glimmer of hope, a chance at winning the pistol and then converting that into a potential map win. So we're pretty much dead even right now.
As usual, actually the production pointing out the Kenya score, which is 5-9. Is it? Yeah, it is 5-9. So it did end up affecting him a little bit. Not a little bit, actually. It's he's bottom fragging for Envious after being the solo carry on the previous map overpass. So we can see how emotional he can get, and I'm guessing that is what affected him the most.
Well, there's no doubting that Kenny S from overpass to Mirage has definitely subsided somewhat. Fortunately, some of his teammates have been standing up for him. Envious with 3 kills with pistol headshots. That's one hell of a way to start the pistol round off. The bomb is going to get planted though, so again Astralis have their options laid right ahead of them. Karrigan with 2 kills! Glock headshots! Kenny S now. Can he come through on the promise that he showed an overpass? Karrigan's there, but Kenny S picks him off. And we'll get the defuse. Karrigan, though, oh my goodness, my heart was in my mouth. I thought he was able to clutch that one out.
Yeah, by the way, Apex with 2 kills on the second pistol round after getting 3 on the first. We saw him getting 3 quick kills from Pit in the first pistol round. Look at that. We have the replay of Device play. I really like this one. Throws out the Molotov. Is absolutely sure nobody will cover this guy. MBK coming out of apps and then just finishing it off with 3 more. He was so confident going into this one.
Well, actually, you think made that play, which is going to sound strange considering all the shots he landed, was the Molotov.
Yeah,
It
for sure.
isolates the second player from the rest of his team, so he can't get
stops
bogged down.
the rush.
And then they just had to, at that point, you've taken 2 casualties, you've already expended all your utility, you have to force through with it, and that just plays right into Device's advantages. So that molly was actually huge, or incendiary, I guess I should say. You get flamed to hell, no pun intended, for getting those 2 wrong. Even though they're basically the same thing. I know there's difference in damage. Relax. Chill your beans. Hiroshima, though, anything but chill. He's down to 15. 2 kills for him, but he will get traded out from Karrigan's Deagle. And Envious, again, are in that kind of position that they have to come up against the AK-47, which is going to go down courtesy of Kenny S. Zipnex now picks that up for himself. Bomb dropped towards the staircase. That was maybe his chance onto Kenny S. And he just gets bogged down and rushed. But Envious did lose 3 weapons in that round, so Astralis did do pretty significant economic damage.
That they did. Still not going to be able to buy in the next round. Still have to wait 1 more. A plant would have helped for sure, but not going to happen. A little bit of I'm pretty much full eco. No, there's a deagle actually. It looked like a Glock. Yeah. No, there's 1 deagle on dupreeh.
Just the one.
He does like that gun.
Picked up by Karrigan because, of course, he was the man that picked up 2 or 3 kills in the pistol round, so he has the more economy, but he dropped it afterwards.
Oh, okay. Didn't realize that. There is that deagle in abs. That Hiroshima actually flanking. He needs to stay alive here.
Kyo also gets the bomb down for his team. cajunb with the Glock gets the MP9. Unfortunately, he has no armor to back that up. And here come the retaliation plays from Envious. Happy leading the charge. dupreeh can't do a great deal with that deagle charging out of the T side of B-App. So Astralis are back into AK-47s, but Envious with a big advantage here with 4 rounds.
Yeah, I said...
4-round lead, I should say. They obviously have 11 rounds.
Yeah, the first 3, I don't think we've seen any eco wins, at least not in the first 3 rounds. In this series, I think every time somebody picked up the pistol round, we saw both following rounds going their way as well. So same thing happening for Envious, and we will see a full-on A attack from Astralis.
That smoke limits their vision, but because they've also smoked the CTs, they couldn't capitalize on that one. Hiroshima comes through. Oh my goodness, those 2 kills could be so instrumental. Happy's there as well, and Astralis were banking on this full-on execute, and it has backfired tremendously. Envious, what a hold. Hiroshima in particular. Yep. You know, we talked about him. He was underperforming. He has typically been bottom fragger. He has made some massive impact kills so far, Mirage.
That is Hiroshima, though. We could see him just bullying his way through after a pop flash. After his own pop flash, I think. He just, he didn't care there at all. You could see him just jumping towards the pit and catching 2 flashed guys off guard, 2 flashed players from Astralis. And this time, again, an eco from them. This is gonna backfire this last round that they couldn't take for themselves.
Astralis are in murky waters at this point in the game.
It is very similar to Overpass, actually, so far.
And of course, they have already used their timeout.
Yeah, this actually does feel like a kind of a like Envious. They did make use of the timeout for sure. They did take 6 of the last 7 rounds, so the timeout was definitely well exploited, and it was the same with Envious on Overpass, but then they dropped off, and this is what's happening to Astralis as well.
The reason I say they're in murky waters, not only because they're 6 rounds behind, but they're only going to have another 1 or 2 shots at having a full-on buy and being able to challenge Envious. So if they don't convert one of those, Envious could just go ahead and walk away with this, like 16-7, 16-8. So for me, this could be the fulcrum point in this entire map, in this entire best of 3, this round here. Because if Astralis lose this, Envious have such a massive lead and the economic situation in their favor as well. If Astralis can take this, then they can start to build that comeback.
Definitely. We can see dupreeh actually having a dual device.
Great start.
Yeah, this is definitely the start they need.
Just picking off Kiyashima, who stood on top of the toll booth. Device. Oh dear. It's going to be Kenny S. Device is actually isolated from the smoke, so he couldn't help out his teammate. Apex, meanwhile, will make short work, and Happy comes through. So it started so well for Astralis, but it seems to be ending so poorly for them. Device, though, is coming around the back from T-Spawn, so Apex may not be long for this world. Going to be picking each other. Devices there with the shot. They desperately need him to rinse and repeat a few more times in this round. 45 seconds or thereabouts left on the timer. And I think they're still a tiny bit worried in case there's a second player in ramp. Judging by Device's movements, he's not entirely convinced that he's alone there. Oh, and he spotted the player. Shoots prematurely, doesn't do any damage. Only 5 seconds. They know now that both players are over on the A site, so all three Envious players will be tagging each other in and looking for the kill. Molotov going to be connecting onto the site. They line up, and MBK is going to take down Zip next to its 10 seconds. He has to go for the kills, and MBK with a double. Astralis are stranded at sea. They're going to be able to afford another buy. It's not going to be quite as good. In actual fact, it's not too shabby, but again, this is probably their last chance to get a decent buy against Envious. If they lose this, they are dead and buried.
I was actually very surprised to see two things there. One of which was the bomb staying alone in pit. But this is actually going to be a fast play from Astralis, it looks like.
Trying something different, I guess. They've tried a lot of slow executes, it just hasn't worked.
And look at that, it could actually work because we can see one player on short and only one inside of B. But no, this is actually going to be a little slower than I expected it to be, because there were 4 players. In the B apps. Device is going to be leading the charge, trying to find a pick.
The thing here for MBK is he is the lone B defender and has no grenades, so he can't afford to go like flash and then try and pick off players. He's going to have to go raw with kills. Astralis almost second-guessing themselves. Originally set up for this B play, and a very fast one as U-Pole striker, but have elected to back away instead. Oh, Device, was that through smoke?
He might have caught a glimpse. I'm not sure. But missing that first shot, it's so important to hit the second one. Because he missed an opportunity there, and he made up for it.
It looks rough to miss the first shot, but as long as he convert on the second time of asking, Astralis will be still happy with how this started. But we saw Device do this last time around, and then it just capitulated for the Danes. They're trying to fake this idea that they've gone back towards mid or A. And MBK connects the headshot. And this is the moment where utility is so important for MBK. If he could just flash over, it would buy him up some time. Instead, he's going to have to deal with the full-on onslaught from Astralis. But as you say, Happy's on short. And he has bagged himself a kill and manages to stay alive on 6 HP. So he's going to continue to be a nuisance while Apex brings in the thunder from Kitchen. He's down to 17 himself. Kiyashima on 74. Takes a few damage, but it's negligible at best. The bomb has been planted, but Zipnix is low. There's a flash and a smoke. Apex comes onto the site and will pick himself up a frag. Oh, and a second as well. It's gone horribly wrong. dupreeh now has to clutch this 1 versus 4. Tickle on the bomb. He's going to go for the peak any second now. He's not sure if Apex is stuck onto the site. That's giving it away now. And the second time, dupreeh is gone back in for seconds. What is going on here? dupreeh is playing this one so passively. He's playing it to perfection. We've seen him do this before. He's still not entirely sure. Apex is finally going to go down. And that round lasted a lot longer than I thought it would when we saw the 1 versus 1. But dupreeh with the balls of steel.
That timing from Apex, though. The whole time, cajunb was holding that angle. But when he actually backs off and pulls out a grenade, Apex comes in and takes 2 players. That was super, super, super unfortunate for cajunb. But at the same time, actually very well played from Apex, because you could see the game sense coming out, because there was a player who checked that angle a little bit, but then they wouldn't expect Apex to be this close.
Again, though, in a 3 versus 3, when 2 of Envious's players were so low, Astralis just about got away with murder.
Yeah.
That should have been clear cut. They should, and you can see the impact that has. Now they've got 2 Tech 9s. If they clutch that out with a 3-man strong side, they'd have had full-on assault rifles. This is it. This is make or break still. This is the issue of being so far behind. There are no easy rounds from here on out. And things have just got a whole lot harder because the guy who's been consistently getting them entries is dead and buried. cajunb will take off Apex. A very good flash onto Staircase meant that Kiyoshima couldn't help his teammate, and here comes the rotation.
They still have a lot of time, so they can still figure out what they want to do with this round. And it was the right call to back off because the rotation was actually already coming in. There were already 3 players from NVS on the A site. So it was super important to actually back off there. So a good call from them, but still undecided as to where they're going to go. But yeah, they are going to the A site after all. Karrigan trying to play the distraction, but it's not going to work out.
It doesn't work out because Kiyoshima went into Palace and spots himself a player. This could be it. This could be the moment where Astralis will bow out at this best of 3. dupreeh is doing what he can to hold on for dear life. The spray is not on point from Zip. Nixon happy from the side. Dispatches dupreeh. Envious have 7 match points to take them through into the grand finals here at GEC. And of course, Astralis will be force buying up, but it is not going to be pretty.
It is not. Look at that. Tech 9s, 1 AK, a single AK. Zipex is going to have to go with a Tech 9 with a small vest there. And this is looking very dire for Astralis. There's nothing they can do. But at the same time, we've seen this a couple of times. Yesterday on Cash against G2, today on Cash against NVS as well. But NVS, in the end, kind of turned around with their own round like this.
They did do a chunk of damage to Kenny S, who is lurking in window. Just hoping that he could get one AWP shot off. So a decent enough start for Astralis. It hasn't necessarily been the first 20-30 seconds that's let them down. It's been the crunch time. It's been the last 20-30 seconds where they tried to push onto the site. Or get onto the site and get the one planted where things just go horribly wrong. It looks as though Astralis here, Striker, are looking for the B play.
It is a site that they have had a bit of success at. We've seen that 1v2 from dupreeh.
Here we go. It's the charge. MBK's been flashed. You can hear all those footsteps. Happy steps up. Oh, it's a perfect crossfire. A mixture. It has been absolutely too much for Astralis to deal with. cajunb's the last man standing, but not for long. Envious are going to take the 3rd map in style, 16-8.